Good evening to you. Happy to have you here tonight on this Friday night. I'm Regina on new information now at 11. The Washington Department of Health has announced Ferry County is in fact moving back into phase 2. This is after a super spreader event in Republic that infected close to 100 people with the coronavirus. We spoke to a health official earlier this week about the recent uptick in hospitalizations in the town.
Well, up until now, we had in the whole county, I want to say we had 70 some cases. And we're way past double that now in the last couple weeks.
And the Department of Health saying on Twitter this swift action is necessary to protect the community and get Ferry County back on the path towards economic recovery much sooner. Well, a move back into phase 2 could see plenty of frustration and lost income, but one of Spokane's largest local events could also be at risk if the rollback does in fact happen. KREM 2's Joshua Robinson joins us tonight with more on the future of the Pacific Northwest Qualifier.
Yeah, it's a larger local event than Bloomsday or Hoop Fest. The Pacific Northwest Qualifier welcomes thousands of volleyball players and their families into the Inland Northwest each year. But this year's rescheduled tournament falls in May, just a few weeks from now, and right in the middle of that potential rollback to phase 2.
You're talking about hundreds of teams that are coming from Texas and Hawaii and Alaska and Arizona and Florida.
As both a club director for Club South Volleyball and a mom of her own U15 player, Michelle Odie is already feeling the struggle of Spokane possibly moving back into phase 2 next week. Another year lost for the Pacific Northwest Qualifier volleyball tournament.
And with the limitations of, only so many players on a court at a time, and these kids being masked here in Washington the whole time, it was like their final hurrah. So it's very devastating.
2021 could represent the second year in a row that the PNQ tournament is canceled. Back in 2019, Visit Spokane estimated the event brings in about $12 million in local income. KREM 2 reached out to April Stark, whose family runs the tournament, and she tells us, quote, "The timing for this could not be worse. Our hopes are that there may be some updates to youth sports guidelines, and if so, hopefully that would still allow us to host the event." She goes on to say that the hardest part is seeing other tournaments 5 times as large as us being allowed to take place, and it's frustrating. This year, every other qualifier has been back except us. It will truly break my heart if that happens to us again in May. If this year's Pacific Northwest Qualifier is called off, Stark tells us there could be long-lasting consequences to the tournament, including a loss of participation from teams in the future. But Odie says she sees another long-lasting impact in the mental health of Spokane's youth and what this year has done to them.
It's been rough. Emotional, mentally, to the point where I think even some of our athletes have kind of lost the touch and the love of the game, I guess I would say, because of so many frustrations across the board.
I asked Odie what kinds of opportunities there might be to reschedule the event, maybe make some new plans for the thousands of people who have travel arrangements up in the air right now. She says right now she doesn't know what comes next, but she does expect some kind of guidance to come out or a conversation to take place early next week. In the newsroom, Joshua Robinson, KREM 2 News.
Joshua, thank you. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, the official announcement will come, but Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward and other local leaders are urging Washington Governor Jay Inslee to keep the county in phase 3. Leaders from the Downtown Spokane Partnership released a statement saying the stance of the mayor and regional health directors to delay reverting to phase 2 is both reasonable and safe, while also recognizing the absolute need for our employees to care for their families by returning to gainful employment. Now, a spokesperson from Inslee said Woodward made the request during a phone call with staff at the governor's office. The spokesperson responded to her request by saying, "We appreciate her position and the tremendous work happening in Spokane to vaccinate individuals." All right, turning the page now to a check on weather. Thomas Patrick joining us on the Outdoor Weather Center. So Thomas, a bit chillier tonight, obviously, than yesterday, but I saw a little bit of sun out there, and I'm hoping that we're going to see 70s again. Maybe not this weekend, but hopefully.
Yeah, the 70s should be pretty easy. Tomorrow is May after all. So
It's just one step closer to summer.
That's the way to think about it. The 70s are going to get a lot more common as we turn the calendar just one more page starting tomorrow. But it will be a little bit cooler for the weekend. Not every day can be as warm as it was yesterday, but today was right at 70 in both Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. So warm enough, a little bit of some peaks of sunshine. Tomorrow, kind of the same story. In fact, we'll have more sunshine later in the day than we do to start the day. We actually might see some showers in our southern areas. Maybe the Palouse or farther south is really the best chance for showers overall, but it'll be around 70 degrees again with another breezy afternoon, but not unlike what we had from earlier today. So what about these shower chances? We can actually see that on radar moving into Oregon right now. If you follow the flow of the cloud cover, that would actually push it into the Blue Mountains region, southeastern Washington, parts of central Idaho. That's our first chance, and it's not everywhere for the inland Northwest, and that's going to be a theme over the next 4 days, is that we'll have these chances, but they're not everywhere. So we got to go day by day to kind of break down where we'll see it. Southern areas in the morning for tomorrow, mountain showers for this Sunday. That should get you squared away for the weekend, but I got a reasonable chance for the Spokane area early next week, and I'll show you when that lies coming up in a few minutes.
Sounds good, Thomas. Thank you. 25 years ago, Lala Gerber had the idea of dressing up those iconic runners in Bloomsday t-shirts out in Riverfront Park. Back then, she didn't even know if it was allowed or not, and the public loved the idea. Now with the running of the 45th Bloomsday, Lala also turns 45, and she says she hopes to keep that tradition alive. Photojournalist Al Lozano met up with Gerber and helpers to bring us this story, and she says it's her contribution to Bloomsday.
I'm Lala Gerber. I've been dressing these statues for 25 years now. It's like a feeling, it's excitement, and you want to be part of it. And if people have shirts they don't want anymore, I ask them to donate them. Let's see how this one's gonna work. Maybe I go this arm first. So I told everybody, I'm like, save all the Bloomsday shirts you can, and next year I'm gonna dress the statues. I don't have permission, but I'm gonna do it anyways. All these statues represent an actual person. I use 40 shirts and I don't get them back. So every year I come up with 40 new shirts to keep doing this. Oh, we did have a kid's shirt. I couldn't even get a large past this guy's chin a minute ago. You know, everybody had a story for all the shirts, and it felt like it brought the statues to life. It also was a kind of a museum to all of the Bloomsdays of the past.